Welcome back to the latest episode of Key Ming Audio Experience. I'm your host, Mang. As always, joined by my fellow co-host, Key. Key, what's good?
What's up, Ming? How are you?
I'm good. How you living?
Living lavish.
Living lavish. Love it. You know what? Today's episode is because you were listening back on episode 4 with Javi, and he drops a lot. So if you haven't heard that one, you got to go back and check that one out. He goes into a lot of different things about things he sees as a business coach and working with dietitians and other healthcare providers about how to make their businesses pop and like be successful and create a life that you might not have thought possible in the 9 to 5 world. But one of the things you had mentioned was that you were seeing a lot of people like people scared of what they don't know, and like letting that fear kind of dictate their decision making and how they decide to go after something or decide not to because of the fear of the unknown. I feel like something that we see a lot is that you might be close to a new opportunity, something that might not have presented itself normally, but now it has, and we stop and get in our way of making those decisions because of fear, because of not knowing what's going to happen in the future, and it can stifle our growth. It can influence our decision making and prevent us from taking the next step. So in this episode, we're gonna talk about some of those fears, how to overcome some of those fears in the day to day. Try to avoid the what if. So if you're looking 50 years down the line, like what if I had taken that leap? What if I had made that decision? So you have no regrets, but you can go forward with your life happy with the decision that you made because you decided to overcome those fears. So Key, like what do you see? How does fear affect people on the day to day in your, like when you're training people, when you're at work, or just on the day to day on the regular?
The thing that I see a lot is the fear of this not just thought of, but like the fear of actually committing and like trusting a process. So, for example, work with a lot of people trying to lose weight, and because they want like quick fixes, they're like scared to commit to it because they haven't done it. So it's something that's unknown and they aren't sure that it's gonna work. So instead of taking that risk in their eyes, they rather stay where they are instead of trying and possibly failing. And I think that applies to anything, like with business. Like people have an idea, but they don't want to start it because they don't think their business is going to pop. They don't think their business is going to be successful. So they never take that risk. Or like we talked about before with somebody trying to get a new opportunity, they're scared that they might not like it. So they don't ever take the opportunity, and they end up staying in a place that they don't like anyways. So fear just prevents you from taking action, essentially.
For sure, it's definitely something that's valid. Like it's if you're going into something new and you don't know what you're gonna expect, it's totally normal. It's totally like I get it that people want to play. So I feel like for me and like diving into this new like business opportunity side, like it's that you got a stable 9 to 5 or clinic job or whatever. Like that can take care of your bills, but does that get you to where you're ultimately trying to get to? It could not. So I think for me it's like, all right, how do I take steps to make sure that I can still, build toward the goals that I want to achieve? And it's something that, no one growing up, no one in my family's ever done anything entrepreneur, anything business like that. So I was kind of breaking that mold. But I think what is helpful is, knowing that you got other people who are thinking like you're thinking and got can be in the same networks and you can ask questions to and guide you too. I know this kind of pushes into our um next topic, but I think it's nice. It's cool to have other people that you can bounce things off to, because the fear, if it was just me by myself and I didn't know anybody, didn't have any mentorship or any guidance on it, I would just, stay with the regular, do what I'm doing. I don't know if I make the move. I'm probably still chilling in Alaska doing my thing, but I don't know if I take some of the steps that I've taken because if I didn't have the people around me that are doing what they're doing. So I think, the fear is a real thing because it can really paralyze you and then have you staying in what's comfortable. And I think having other people around you who are doing things bigger than you, that if it just forces you to have to do big things as well to make sure that you stay on the same, like you can stay on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and I think having, whether it's like friends, people in your circle, or even somebody that's more so on like a mentor or coach level, there in your circle to talk about it, I think what helps is to really just break down what you're scared about and like really break that down to the most basic level and then see how you can tackle that. Because a lot of the stuff we fear may not actually be things that we should actually be afraid about, or it may be things that we can actually overcome. It may be a situation that's actually very feasible, but it just seems so daunting that it seems overwhelming and impossible. So being able to break that down and share that with somebody, especially somebody who has done it, they can not only relate to you, but they can also give you the blueprint on how you can go about doing it, which kind of eliminates the potential mistakes you can make on your own without having that guidance.
Hmm. Yeah, I think breaking it down to why you're scared or why it's fearful, I think that's something that not a lot of people talk about, but I think it's super important. It's hard to really take a step back and look at why am I feeling this way? What is causing me to feel this way? And how do I overcome it? Or how do I just see it for what it is, which is just emotion. But I think if you're able to do that, it's a valuable skill that can help in a long time for the long run and helping you be able to overcome a lot of challenges and things that come your way.
And another thing that you can think about is kind of break down the cost or like the feeling of how you're going to feel if you don't take a risk or don't take that next step versus you actually taking the step. So when you do actually say if you're in a situation where, for example, you are in a 9 to 5 and you want to get a different job, like you totally hate your job now, but you're scared to make a move and move to like the next job. You can kind of ask yourself, like, are you willing to endure the pain and frustration of you staying at your current job, or take the risk, get a new job, see if you like it, and worst case scenario, you end up hating your job now. Like at least you tried it and you don't have to live with the what ifs. But I think if you break it down like that, you'll see that you not taking the risk is a lot more detrimental to not only like your overall situation, but also how you feel emotionally than you actually taking that risk. Obviously, not all risks are as simple as that, but if you can think about it like that, you can kind of make the decision a lot easier.
Hmm. Yeah, I think being able to look long term and be like, all right, if I here's how I think about when I like buy courses and stuff, how I think about it is this: if I apply what this course says that they're gonna do, what is that? What is the return on that? Is it gonna be more than the initial investment that you made into it? So if it's like course is $1,000 and I'm learning how to build a business. If I create a successful business that turns into 100K, so you saw 100 times your investment over the long run. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but it's a long term play. So I think if you look at um, if you do what you're supposed to do and do what you say you're going to do, hold your promises to yourself and take your action, then I think it makes it easier to, you know, not have money be as much of a deciding factor and make sure that you're making decisions because it's going to help you get to where you need to be.
Yeah, I think I think that once you do all of that, it'll be easier to make the decision, and I think you'll be able to like live with your decision a lot better, or be at peace with your decision if you actually go through these steps instead of just saying that you're scared without truly knowing exactly what you're scared about.
Hmm. You good? I can't hear you.
I'm good. I muted myself because my background.
Oh, okay. So how can like for someone who is like trying to contemplate a tough decision or a scary decision, what are like how does having a coach, having a mentor help play into that?
So having a coach could help because usually if you hire somebody as a coach, it's somebody that you've kind of vetted their experience, vetted their accomplishments. You know what they've been able to do, and like kind of know where they started, especially like this day and age. Like a lot of people are showing where they started and then how they got to where they are. So I think you have a lot more trust in their ability to get you to where you want to be based off of that. So they'll essentially give you the blueprint and be able to guide you along the way. And what that does is makes your process a bit more streamlined and helps you to avoid any possible mistakes. Not saying that you're not going to fail, but I think having a coach limits the amount of mistakes or failures that you do have. And then when you do have the failures, they help you overcome them a lot quicker than if you were to do it on your own.
Hmm. I think it's just like it's a learning experience. The failures are going to come, and they should come because it's not everything in life is going to be on the up and up. There's going to be ups and downs, and you got to be able to manage the ups as well as the downs that come along with life and business and health and all the other things. I wish it'd be so much easier if everything was just once you start, you're going up that way. But fortunately, that's not how it works. But it's also a good opportunity for when is your time to be a coach or a mentor for someone coming up after you, looking to do what you did. Then you have things that you can help them with. That you have your own experiences that not another person does not have your experiences, so you can relay those down to the next generation coming after you and help leave the place a better spot than how you found it.
Exactly. I agree.
Anything else you want to add?
Nah, just really break down why you're feeling that way, and don't just say you're scared. Like actually sit with yourself and figure out why you're scared and then go from there. But I think if you don't ever do that, it's going to be hard for you to make a sound decision and be at peace with your decision and not have any regrets.
You heard it from Keisha Keys.
All right. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Later.